What's up, YouTube? Shawn here with the Guaranteed Success Plan, and today we're going to talk about how to work an open house properly, stop collecting emails, stop wasting your time, and stop valuing transactions over relationships. All right, guys, let's cut the fluff and get straight to it. Time and time again, I hear and see other realtors talk about open houses, and it's always, oh, I worked there for 3 years or 5 years and I never got any deals from them. I'm so sick of them. I'm wasting my time, all that kind of stuff. And that's because they're valuing the transaction over the relationship. If you truly value the relationship over the transaction, I guarantee you that you will get a tremendous amount of business from working open houses. This is a strategy that is actually going to drive your business through the roof. And even if you hate working open houses right now, if you start implementing this, I promise you, you are going to love working opens. You're going to be waiting for every Saturday, Sunday, because you know it's just going to drive your business straight up. Before we dive into the strategy, we actually have to understand a few different things. The first one is you are not the only person working an open house that weekend. There's going to be 5, 10, 15 other agents in the community also working an open house at the exact same time. So what happens is if you have the exact same strategy as them, which is the owner needs you to sign in the sheet, you have to sign the sheet, you need to click their email, whatever other kind of bullshit excuse that you give them so that you can click their email. Usually it's a fake email anyways. All you're going to end up doing is just sending them every single property that's available in the community, just like everybody else is doing. Yours is going in the trash, theirs is going in the trash, and they're not going to want to work with anybody there. The other thing that we have to understand, and this one is actually very important to understand, is people coming in without a realtor typically have two mindsets. One, they either don't like realtors, or two, they don't know that they need one. They think that they can shop on their own, deal with the listing agent, and get a better deal because they're cutting half the commission. We all know that simply is not true. I do a lot of double ends because of the way that I market. I've double ended 17 deals this year alone. When we're talking about that, I'm always in favor of the seller. That's the person that's hired me. That's the person that's paying me. I have all of the information available to me. I'm going to be able to negotiate best for the client who's actually paying me. So we know that we're not doing buyers favors by letting them go and shop on their own because they're literally going to end up overpaying for a house. If we understand the two mentalities, either they don't like us or they don't think they need us, let's not prove them right. Let's actually go value the relationship over the transaction, truly show them that we're of service and that we're earning the commission by doing a great job for them. All right, let's start breaking down the strategy. And again, what we have to think about every single prospecting activity is what is the intent and how do we max out the ROI? So if the intent is actually just to sell the house that we're sitting in, we're gonna fail 99% of the time. Every single stat that I can find is it's about a 99 to a 90% failure rate if we're pushing the open house. So that means 1 to maximum 10 people shopping for open actually buy the one they're sitting in. I can tell you from my own personal experience, working in show homes for about 7 years and doing opens consistently for the last few years, people are not going to buy the house that they're sitting in because they have no idea if it fits their needs. They're just walking in because it just happens to be available. And again, they've got one of the two mentalities. They don't like us or they don't need us. They're just walking in blind. So what our intent needs to be for the prospecting activity is that we are actually going to acquire new buyers. And if that new buyer is actually a perfect fit for the home we're sitting in, it's going to be a slam dunk, super easy sale if we qualify them properly. If it's not the right house, all we're going to do is prove them right, that they don't like us and they don't need us because we're going to be trying to ram a house down their throat that they don't want. We're sitting in our open house. The clients walk in. The very first thing that we have to do is get coffee worthy. So before we start anything, before we start qualifying, prospecting, any of that kind of stuff, we need to get to the point where they would actually invite us out for a coffee. We want to get that friendly with everybody. So we need to be talking about anything and everything and always asking questions so that we can get to know these people better. And we don't actually start getting into the real process until we see that body language change, because that's when we know that they're actually coffee worthy and they're ready to get started. So what does that mean? Hands coming out of the pockets, arms getting uncrossed, them leaning towards you instead of away from you. A big one is seeing their shoulders drop. All that kind of stuff is showing that they're getting more comfortable, they're opening up, we become coffee worthy, and now we can actually start the qualifying process. Here's another really important thing you need to understand. At some point in time, these people bought the house that they're living in now, so it fit all of their needs, they loved it, they wanted to move there, they were super happy. Something changed, either their commute changed, their lifestyle changed, the family dynamic changed, something changed that was big enough to make them want to go through a move. We've all been through it before. Moving is the worst. Packing, boxes, trucks, money, bribing your friends with pizza and beer, it all sucks. Nobody wants to move. So if they're gonna go through all of that bullshit and all of the pain of actually moving, the house has to be causing more pain than that. So we need to understand that they no longer want to live in the house they bought. So here's a couple of really good examples that I've come across. So somebody coming into the open, obviously we're gonna invite them in, come on in guys, take off your shoes. We're gonna bring them into wherever they're comfortable, so the kitchen, the living room, and then we're gonna start getting coffee worthy. Ask about the weather, the game, what they've been up to the last weekend, anything and everything we could talk about to start a general conversation so we can actually get to know each other, so you can see that body language change and we can get started. Once we get coffee worthy, we hit them up with 1 or 2 questions. First one is if we got really personal and we're on a really good level. The second one, if we're still kind of digging a little bit deeper and we're still building up that coffee worthiness. The vast majority of the time, we're gonna go for the second one. The first question, so what in your lives changed that your current house doesn't work for you anymore? Because again, if we think back, they bought it at one point, they loved it at one point, something changed, we don't know what it is, but they're now moving. The second question, what about your current house doesn't work anymore? See how that's way less personal, but it's still gonna generate a really good response that's gonna help us find whatever it is, the current pain that they're going through and why they're gonna go through all of the pain of moving. So when we ask them, what about your current house doesn't work anymore? We need to let them lead the conversation. If you start steering this ship, you're gonna steer it into what you think might be the problem. You're not gonna get to their actual problem. You're not gonna be able to solve it. So now we got coffee worthy, and then we're gonna start asking the question. Hey guys, can I just ask you a real quick question? What about your current house doesn't work anymore? Well, our current house is actually just way too small. Now we have to dig deeper into why the house is too small. We can't assume that it's just not enough bedrooms or the kitchen's too small or the living space or that kind of stuff. We need them to tell us. So the next question is going to elicit a long form answer. Okay, can you tell me a little bit more about that? What about the current house is too small? Well, you know what, to be honest with you, it's just the kitchen. It's way too small for us now. Okay, perfect, now we're getting somewhere. But we gotta keep digging and we gotta find out what about that kitchen is too small. So again, we can start providing the solution because we have no idea which portion. Is it not enough counter space? Is it not enough cupboard space? Is it not enough appliances? We have no idea, so we gotta keep digging. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. The kitchen is one of the most important parts of the house. Can you tell me a little bit more? What about the kitchen's too small? To be honest with you, it's not even that the kitchen's too small. When it was just me and the wife, we always used to go to my parents' house for Christmas and Thanksgiving and all that kind of stuff. But now that we got 2 little kids, everybody always comes to our house so that we don't have to pack them up and drive them across town. But my parents' house is actually awesome for these big dinners because they got this really big table, the whole family's all together, we're all eating and talking at the same time and it's great. But now at our house, we got this small dining nook. We got the kids over here at one table, we got some people at the kitchen island, and some people are even over in the living room. So we're not actually together as a family, it sucks. See what I'm talking about here? It actually had nothing to do with the house being too small, had nothing to do with the kitchen being too small. It had everything to do with the dining setup where they couldn't have big family gatherings. That's digging into the current pain. And we have to keep digging, so we have to find more things and more situations that's wrong with the house so that we can provide the proper solution and guide them to the house that's actually gonna solve all these problems. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I like big family dinners too. That would drive me nuts. Can you tell me, is there anything else about the house that doesn't work? Oh man, you know what? Our yard is way too small now. Okay, perfect. Well, can you tell me a little bit more about that? What about the yard is too small? Well, it's not even that the yard is too small. When it was just me and the wife, we used to have all our friends over. We played bocce ball, ladder ball, all that kind of stuff. But now that we got 2 little kids, we actually got a dog as well. And the dog shits and pisses all over the yard. And we don't want to have anybody back there anymore because we're never sure that if the yard is properly clean and all that kind of stuff. And it's just kind of gross sometimes. You know what? I feel your pain. I got a dog too, same problem. It doesn't sound like you need a bigger yard. It sounds like you need a dog run. Problem with this house is the stairs come off the middle, so you're actually not gonna be able to put one. This house doesn't work for you at all. The kitchen's too small and the yard doesn't work. This is how we qualify for current pain and current dissatisfaction. We actually dig into the reasons of why these people wanna move, why they don't want to live in that house anymore, and how we can provide a house that will solve all these problems. Once we've dug deep into all the problems, that we found out what really is bothering these people and why they're gonna move, now we can start to provide the solution. One thing that you needed to have done was actually research the area and research the community before the open started. And I'm not talking about square footage and bedroom count and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about the flow and function of the house. So now when they come and they tell you that the kitchen's too small, but it's not the kitchen, it's they can't put a big dining table, and that the yard is too small, but it's not the yard, it's they can't have a dog run, and you know all the houses that are in the neighborhood, you can pinpoint the ones that are the perfect fit for them. This is when you take them over your computer, you open up the MLS, and you actually go directly to the houses that fit all their needs. Click through, show them all the pictures. They're gonna tell you that that's the perfect house and they love it. Now all you gotta do is book the showing. So instead of collecting an email or trying to send them a million properties that may or may not fit whatever they need, you're actually gonna go and book the showing right then and there. I always like to tell them that I'm here till 5 today, guys. I can book it tonight, or does Monday or Tuesday work better for you? They're gonna tell you, you know what, can't do it tonight. Monday works great, perfect. Got it booked right here. We're in for Monday at 5. Gonna get you guys' phone number. I'll make sure I confirm Monday morning. We'll go take a look at the house, and if it's the one for you, we'll put in an offer. See how we didn't even go through the house? We didn't talk about the updated shingles or the new furnace or hot water tank or any of that kind of stuff, because none of that was relevant to these people. The things that were relevant were their current pain, their current dissatisfaction. And because I provided the solution, I don't need their email to send them 10, 20, 30 properties. I can actually take them directly to the one that they need and actually show them that their two mindsets, that they don't need us or they don't want us, are in fact not true, because I value the relationship over the transaction, and we're gonna do a great job for them. On the contrary, here's what I see from a lot of realtors of what they're doing. People are coming into the open house, they're too scared to have a conversation with them. They have no idea what they're talking about. They just let them walk through the house, give them the feature sheet. And as the people are going and walking through the house, they're sitting in the kitchen and they're like, oh man, I hope they like the house. I hope they buy it. I really need a commission check this month. Mortgage is backdated, car notes due, all that kind of stuff, instead of actually going, taking control of the sale, taking control of the client, and finding the house that they actually need to get. Or even worse, when they actually try to sell the house that they're sitting in without qualifying at all. Let's go back and think about that same example. The clients that need the bigger kitchen and the yard with the dog run. Imagine the house you're sitting in doesn't have any of their needs, but all you're doing is talking about the brand new appliances, the updated kitchen, the brand new floors, the blah, blah, blah. As you're walking through and showing all the features and benefits of a house they don't want, all you're doing is confirming those two mindsets. They don't like you and they don't need you, and you're proving it true. All right, guys. Okay, let's sum up that open house strategy really quick for you. So the first thing we have to understand is that you're not the only person working the open house. You're competing against 10, 15 other people. You need to have a different strategy. The second thing we gotta understand is the mindset of the people coming in without a realtor. They either don't like you or they don't need you. When people come in, you have to get coffee worthy before you start qualifying. Otherwise, you're not gonna get anywhere trying to find out what the current pain is. Once you get coffee worthy, you start digging into the current pain and the current dissatisfaction and why they're gonna go through that move. Once you've qualified for the current pain and dissatisfaction, we start steering them in the right direction and putting it into the house that's actually gonna solve those problems. Once you become in agreement with the clients that these are the houses that will actually provide the solution to their problems, book the showing direct right there, collect their phone number, and then go sell them the house. All right, guys. So that's the open house strategy of how you stop collecting emails, start booking showings, and actually increasing your business. Again, what's the intent of the activity we're doing and how we're maxing out the ROI. And this one will drive your business through the roof. All right, guys, you know the drill. If you found this video useful, click the bell, subscribe below so you don't miss anything. Leave a couple comments or questions down below, and we'll see you next time.